All right, guys, this is it. Let's get on to not the most important necessarily, but the biggest topics that have come out over the past couple weeks. So I'm going to talk about obviously the big news, and then we're going to do a little bit of what I'd like to call a post-credit scene, if you will, a little bit of a bonus topic at the end, because there's something, in addition that people have been talking about underneath this big news that I'd like to also put in my hat, and if you will, and put my hat into the ring and discuss what's going on here. But let's talk about the great news first before we talk about the more worrisome news after that. Spider-Man 4. This is a film where we all thought, even after Tom Holland said, I need a break and I'm not going to be Spider-Man for a little bit anymore. Okay, fine, we believe you. Since 2021, you haven't been Spider-Man, and probably not until 2026 at the earliest. You won't be Spider-Man again. So that's fair. A little bit of a break from Spider-Man. But we all kind of knew, just based on the I combined amazing and massive, but amazing massive success of Spider-Man No Way Home, and just the trilogy in general, and just the reception of the character in general. He was honestly the emotional heartbeat of Tony Stark in a lot of different places in the Avengers films. We remember that scene. I think it's a really powerful scene where Tony Stark comes back from space and he's like, I lost the kid. In that way, Peter Parker really affected Tony in that way. And you saw the reversal of that once Tony died in Spider-Man Far From Home. Those three Spider-Man films, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man No Way Home, are three of my favorite MCU films ever. I think that is easily, and I'm not being facetious, I think easily that is the best MCU trilogy. And there are some good trilogies in the MCU, for sure. But I think that is the best MCU trilogy ever made. I love those three films so much. But so we all thought, okay, John Watts may not return to direct Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man 4 may not have the multiverse or whatever, which I think is fine. I think that, Spider-Man 4 should totally be a street level film. Who knows if it's going to be that? There were rumors going around today that Null is going to be the villain of Spider-Man 4. I don't believe that at all. But I think that, we don't know what Spider-Man 4 is going to be about just yet. But I think that, time will tell, and I always thought that Spider-Man was going to be coming back with Tom Holland. Miles Morales will come into the MCU eventually for sure, but Tom Holland is still in his prime as Spider-Man, and I'd still like to see at least a few more good films with him before he hangs it up and before his character is retired from the MCU. So we had official confirmation. No, that's not true. We had quote-unquote official confirmation because it's coming from the major trade, so it's not coming from Marvel themselves. So no, title, no nothing, but Spider-Man 4 is a go, and the director is going to be Destin Daniel Cretton. Now, Destin Daniel Cretton, before the MCU, directed Just Mercy. He was a fantastic director. He did a lot of amazing work, and then, obviously, with the MCU, he broke through with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, one of my favorite films from the Phase 4 multiverse saga era. Really, really great film. Put him on the map. So much so that Marvel was just giving him things left and right. That he was given first Kang Dynasty, Avengers 5 he was given before the Russo brothers came back and took that, and now it's Avengers Doomsday, but he was given the keys to Avengers Kang Dynasty, which is crazy. They trusted him that much. He was also given Wonder Man, which he was executive producing, I believe, and so that'll be really interesting to see what comes of Wonder Man when that comes out as well, because it seems like a project he really cares about. He was given Shang-Chi 2, which we will talk about in the last segment, but, it seems like Marvel really loved what he did. And Shang-Chi, the first one, came out pretty much at the tail end of the height of the pandemic, right? And I think it's fair to say that it suffered financially for that. I think it made about $450 million at the box office. But I think if it came out in the Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3 era, it would have probably made in the $600 to $700 million range. It was a fantastic film. I think more people have come around to it ever since it was released. So, Destin Daniel Cretton, number one, is the director of Spider-Man 4. Really happy about that. I think that he just has a handle on this genre. And I've only, to be fair, he's only done one film in the genre, but still, based on Shang-Chi, I think that we have just nothing but good things to look forward to with Spider-Man 4 in the hands of Destin Daniel Cretton. Speaking of nothing but good things to expect from it, the writers are also back. So Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, who wrote the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man No Way Home, are also back, which is, I think, just as big of a confidence booster as anything else, honestly. As much as it's really exciting that Destin Daniel Cretton is coming back to the MCU and he's going to be directing Spider-Man 4, I think it's just as as just as much good news that the writers of 3 of my favorite MCU films of all time, and the writers of the 3 Spider-Man films that I love so much are coming back to write Spider-Man 4. That is huge news. I think that whatever story they decide to come up with and whatever crazy concepts, multiverse or Kingpin or whatever, I think that they will have a really good story cooked up, and I can't wait for that. Few more things though that have been not confirmed, but at least reported by the Hollywood Reporter. I think number 1. Or actually, well, we're on number 3 now. So I guess this is number 3. Number 3, Spider-Man 4 looks like it's going to be filming in early 2025. Now, if you're keeping track, what does this mean for release date? Well, it seems like then Spider-Man 4 could potentially be targeting that November-December 2025 release. I mean, probably not, but who knows, right? If it starts filming in early 2025, maybe it could be coming out. Because look, if Fantastic Four started filming in July of 2025 or 2024, excuse me, and it's coming out in July of 2020. No, what did I say? If Fantastic Four started filming in July of 2024 to come out in July of 2025, then who knows? Maybe Spider-Man 4 starts filming January 2025 and comes out just like No Way Home did in Christmas 2021, I believe. Then maybe 2022, excuse me. Maybe Spider-Man. No, 2021. I was right. Spider-Man. I'm getting all my numbers confused, guys. I'm so sorry. If Spider-Man No Way Home had so much success coming out December 2021, then who's to say maybe Spider-Man 4 takes that quote-unquote Blade spot. I know Blade was going to come out in November, but let's just say they scrap that November spot, and let's say that Spider-Man 4 comes out in 2025. Because I think that 2026... We'll see. I mean, the Avengers film, Avengers Doomsday, is going to come out in 2026 as of right now, so we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Spider-Man 4 could be coming much sooner than we think. So filming in early 2025. And finally, the last bit of news here. Obviously, like we alluded to before, Tom Holland is returning. But the other bit of news is that Zendaya is also likely to return as well, which I think is interesting. And it's exciting because Zendaya obviously is a dynamic actress. She's great. And it seems like they're going to be continuing that story forward because obviously Zendaya forgot who Peter Parker was. MJ forgot who Peter Parker was at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, which I think is honestly quietly one of the most underrated scenes in the MCU. I think it's very emotional, and it's emotional without needing to kill off a character or anything like that. I think it's great. And so really wonderful kind of ending to that trilogy, but I think that there's more story to be told with those 2 characters as well. So really excited about that. So again, just to recap the 4 big announcements here. Overall, overarching, before we get to that, Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland is a go. Great. 4 big pieces of news here that we had discussed. Director is going to be Destin Daniel Cretton. That's number 1. Number 2, the writers of the Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy, Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, are going to be returning to write this 4th film. Third thing, it's going to start filming in early 2025. And 4th thing, Zendaya is probably also going to return. This is fantastic news, guys. I just cannot wait. Like I said, those 3 Spider-Man films, I believe, are all in or close to the top 10 of MCU films and shows at this point, which, I mean, that's a big feat in itself because there are some 45 projects at this point in the MCU. So really, really good news. Really excited about that. Cannot wait for Spider-Man 4. Let me know in the comments down below what you're thinking about this and whether or not you're excited as well. I would imagine that most of you are, but just wanted to, just let me know in the comments down below what you guys are thinking.